Well, we're going to call the meeting to order. Good evening, everybody. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We don't have anything till 5:35, so we do have a couple of minutes. Chris, do you have anything to talk about?
I got a couple of blue frame rentals, if that's okay.
Sure. Run through those quickly.
We have a reservation for September 17, 2022, arriving 11 a.m., departing 5 p.m. Liquor, no. Maximum number of people, 65. The picnic for a group. They are renting the bar pavilion, gazebo, and the large field. And then the second one is for July 10th, 2022, arriving 11 a.m., departing 3 p.m. Liquor authorized, no. Maximum number of people, 20. It's a Cub Scouts summer picnic. It's at pavilion number 1 on the Taylor Street side near the pond/road.
Could skip ahead to citizen participation. We have a couple minutes. Mr. Randall, I know you have, you wanted to talk about Charter Day. Will that take you more than 2 minutes?
No.
All right. You have the floor then.
Okay. First off, I'd like to compliment the Charter Day staff. It was an awesome Charter Day.
Just have your name and your address.
George Randall, 52 Taylor.
Thank you, sir.
Wanted to compliment the entire Charter Day staff. It was an awesome show all weekend. I didn't hear of many issues, and what I heard of was resolved easily. I'd like to compliment the motorsports staff from Charter Day. Wes Johnson, Jack Arquette, and Mike Martell. They ran the motorsports on the other side of the pond, and that went off without a hitch all weekend. As you know, a lady in town made a sizable donation to Charter Day for the fireworks. She's a classmate of mine, and I want to be assured that the town of Granby has sent the lady a thank you note for her donation for the fireworks. If you were there for the fireworks, it was an awesome show. And the only question I would ask the board to think about is that this year is the 50th anniversary of Dufresne's Park. I was wondering if the board would give consideration to doing something either with the Historical Association or GCAM honoring the family that donated the property. And that's all I have. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. Appreciate the comments. All right. Terry, is yours going to take longer than a few minutes? No? All right. Then why don't you come on up? Just sit there. Just say your name and address. And
Terry Johnson, 98 Bachelor Street, but I'm here on behalf of the Granby Historical Association. In front of you is a letter. We're celebrating a 200-year-old building this year, and we had a fundraiser drive that started in September, and we have reached phase 1, which you notice the outside of the building has been painted. With that being said, the inside, we've got to make it shine too. So we are redoing our displays. And one of the inquiries that we've had since 2018 was about the gold-headed canes. And I did some research on the canes in general, and we have a lot of articles and pictures of the recipients of that cane. And I was just wondering if the town would allow us to loan us the 2 canes to put as part of that display for the summer through October.
It's something the board will talk about.
Okay.
Discuss. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Now with that said, it brings us to our next agenda item, the farm winery pouring license hearing this evening. Who would be speaking? Jim, you?
Yes.
On behalf of it? Okay. All right, so it's a public hearing, so we're gonna open it up. We'll have the, Mr. Trumpy speak to what he is asking for a license for the farm winery, and then we'll open it up for questions for anybody from the audience. And I would ask that you do pose the questions to the board, to myself, and we'll, if it needs be, Mr. Trumpy or someone from his winery would answer the question. Okay.
Okay, great. Jim Tronke, 290 Taylor Street. Basically, what you have in front of you is all the paperwork the state required you to fill out on the town's behalf to approve a pouring license. I've already been licensed by the federal government to produce wine on site and beer, and by the state for the full winery license. We've planted a vineyard. We've got approximately 18 acres. We've got the building in the back, as you can see on the paperwork that was provided, is where the production area will be. The building in the front, the steel metal building there, the wood building in the front will be the tasting room and the store. Parking will be the same way it was before. It's all in the front. This is a pre-existing agricultural business that once I purchased the property, I had gone down and registered the wine house as a new business.
Okay. Is there a certain amount of like tables that you're gonna have there? Or
Yeah, there'll be some outside tables. As far as, so the process is, if the board decides to approve it tonight, then the paperwork gets filed by the county administrator back to the state. The state will come out and inspect the facility. They've already been out once to inspect the production area. They'll come back out to inspect the tasting room. In the meantime, I'll be pulling a permit to build adding some doors. The fire department will come in and make sure that we meet code with exit signs and fire extinguishers, and they'll also determine what the seating capacity is inside the building.
okay.
That will have to operate under those conditions. It's pretty simple. They're all over Western Mass.
Right.
There's been no problems with them. The communities themselves are in favor of them as a whole. The state and the federal government are good with them because it's a huge tax resource for them. Producing the wine
Yep.
in the state. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. I don't know if anybody here has been to a winery before, but they're family friendly. They're outdoors. They're somewhat seasonal. I plan on, for the most part, operating Thursday through Sunday from noon to maybe 9 o'clock, but most of the time it'll be 7. I'm going to ask for the pouring permit to be 7 days a week. only because I don't want to come back for holidays. I'd like to be open before Christmas. We'll be selling gift baskets with, with wine
Yep.
before Thanksgiving, before Christmas. 4th of July is, it'll be in the middle of the week,
Right.
and other holidays.
Okay.
But the plan is to operate between Thursday and Sunday.
Sunday. Chris, did you have some?
I just need a little clarification. Jim gave what the hours of operation were. So for the Weiss pouring, are you going to be looking for Sunday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. every day?
Noon to 9.
Noon to 9.
Because on a Friday or Saturday night, we probably want to stay open a little bit later. And depending on the season too, people are going to sit outside in the middle of November,
Right.
December.
Yep.
That sort of thing, 5 to 6 months.
Is there any indoor seating?
Yes.
And just one other question. I know there were some concerns from the neighbors about potentially bands being brought in or entertainment being brought in. You foresee that occurring?
Yes, I would like to do that, but I would come to the town for a special permit for that.
Go ahead.
Did we address the traffic situation coming in and out of there?
Pardon me?
Did we address the traffic situation in the plans coming in and out of there? No.
That's pre-existing. There was a business operating out of there before, 7 days a week,
Yep.
12 months out of the year. They had 60 kennels. They had, which were full most of the time from what I've been told. They had stables. There were the horses. The property's been hay. I'm continuing to have the local farmer have the hay. The speed limit is 25 miles an hour. There's plenty of vision in both directions to be able to pull out. There is traffic. Traffic continues to grow in Granby, and it's not due to anything that this town is doing. Basically, Granby's a big rotary. We get this question posed to us all the time on the planning board. People get into Granby on one end and use it as a rotary to get off somewhere else at another location. So traffic, we have no control over it. Somebody could open up a winery just on the other side of Granby on the local line, and you're still gonna feel the impact of some traffic. A little bit of traffic that we're gonna bring in will be a drop in the bucket for what kind of traffic is on each street.
Chris, do you have anything? Any questions?
Not right now. I wanted to hear from the butters too.
Okay. Yep. Anything else, Rick?
No.
No. All right. Jim, you have anything else?
No,
All right. So this time I'm going to open it up to any of the anybody in the audience that wish to ask questions or speak at this time. I do ask that I will call you out, and if you do, when you stand up, please. Do you have a microphone? He's got it. Oh, okay. So we'll give you the microphone. Please just state your name and your address. And then, again, as I said, you pose the questions to the board, but obviously we'll need to be referring back to Mr. Trompe if need be. So, in the back.
I do have questions further about the traffic and if there was a traffic study done. I understand that there was a business there before
Okay.
with kennels, but
If I can
that's
start,
not...
your name and address.
Oh, I apologize. Christine
okay.
Karen, Lot 8 over on Morgan Street. Currently living in Chicopee, but we'll be building over on Morgan Street hopefully
Yeah.
within the next year. Because these cars could be coming and going at the same time, is there any sort of special traffic pattern that might be necessary for this business? Or lights of any of that nature?
You want to speak to that?
Yeah, no traffic study because there was an existing business.
Right.
Just reoccupying the property as agricultural as it was once before.
Well, it just because it was a business at one time, and I think with the kennel, I remember them being fairly full all the time, and people probably going in and out, dropping dogs off or cats off or what have you. So,
I was just thinking of the volume at the similar times with just having a
Yeah.
brand new winery and people being excited, and, you know, I think it's a great business. I was just curious, like I said, about the
Yeah.
traffic.
well, let me ask you, Mr. Trompe, if in the future you see any issues with traffic or anything like that, is there something you could speak with the chief of police and try to maybe work on like a detail or something like that?
Absolutely. If we were going to do an event there or something for a fundraiser, I would probably talk to the chief and see about having someone there to help.
There you go. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Is there anybody else? No? All right. All right, well, at this time, we'll close the portion of the public hearing, and we'll discuss it amongst ourselves. Chris, did you have any other questions? I know you wanted to wait after the
Yeah, I
butter
do.
spoke.
Yeah, I do have a question. How many liquor licenses do we have available right now in Granby?
It's a pouring license, what you want, though.
Or a pouring license?
Yeah,
I can't answer that, but I know the farm license doesn't affect it.
yeah,
This is a separate license issue by the
Okay.
state.
yeah.
It doesn't affect it.
count against us.
Yeah,
Okay.
correct.
So it doesn't count as one of our licenses? Okay.
Anything else, Crystal?
The property you said was on about 18 acres,
Correct.
which we just, or the town, I should say, just approved the property on Harris Street for events and stuff like that on 18 acres as well, with noise complaints and stuff like that, but they don't have any. I think that one was more about sound, right? They wanted 200-foot like sound buffer or something like that with
Right.
trees, but that's totally separate. I was just thinking like the 18 acres as far as this being 18 acres in that one, but we still, if he has
That-
events.
That was-
For a zoning
Yeah, that was a
bylaw
do-
change
yeah.
to allow private venues.
Yeah,
It has nothing to do with what
Separate.
Mr. Trumke was doing. That was for people that they had a large parcel of land.
Right, and if
To be
they
able
wanted to
hold
do events.
Weddings there,
right.
retirement parties, whatever, that they had a view that they felt people would like to be partying. So if that's all. it's
Right,
about.
that was a change to our bylaws.
Okay,
Allow
so
it.
if this gets approved tonight, as far as the license goes, Mr. Tromke would still come and ask for a special permit when you want to have live bands or something like that?
Yes.
Okay, so it would still have to go through the proper channels?
Right, yep.
My only issue was the traffic, and I think he's got it under control.
Yeah. So, right, so what this board is looking at is whether or not we feel it's okay for the business to have a pouring license to pour wine.
Right.
That's basically what it is. So he has people
He's
that want
already
to...
making it?
Yeah, people want to
Right.
visit the winery and start tasting the wine, I think what it comes down to.
Okay.
So, I don't have a concern with it. I think it's something we always talk about.
Increasing our business.
Increase our business and, you know, bringing different things to Granby. And as I know Mr. Tromke spoke about too, is that you look at a lot of surrounding towns and stuff like that, you know, the wineries are out there, the breweries are out there, they're good business. They bring revenue into the towns and the cities. I think it's nice to have something, you know, where people want to come here for that. And I think I know it's on the corner there. It's a nice little, I think a nice little area. And like I said, I think it's great that we kind of look at expanding our culture a little bit more in the town. I think this is a great way to do it. Anybody else?
No, I agree. I think you're gonna have, if you have that, is there a noise barrier between your nearest neighbor? You know, like a row of trees or something,
Across the
besides across the road, but I mean,
No, there's a hill.
There's a hill.
Basically slopes away.
okay. great idea.
So I'll entertain a motion if you'd like to approve the pouring license for, the correct name, Farm Winery, correct?
I'll make a motion that we approve the Farm Winery pouring license.
Is there a second?
I will second that motion.
All right. Is there any further discussion this time?
Yep.
No? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? No? There you go.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, right on schedule. All right, well, we have our next agenda item is our veterans agent, Mr. Rule.
Jeff Rule, Lynn Drive. I'm here as your town Granby Veteran Service Officer. What I'm requesting is that we put a flyer in with our annual tax mailing that will allow townspeople to donate, round up or donate a monetary amount to our Veterans Fund. My fear is with the price of oil going up so high, our veterans are not going to be able to pay for the oil required. This fund would be only for veterans. Again, it's a voluntary fund. They would have to meet certain stipulations. I would use the Chapter 115 guidelines and VA guidelines and federal guidelines on income to determine eligibility. We'd also use DD 214's marriage and birth certificates for dependent, see if they're eligible also.
Good. Is there any issue putting in our tax bills though?
No, under the Mass General Law that this is authorized under, we're authorized to be able to put them either in our real estate tax bills or our motor vehicle excise tax bills, not both. Okay. And that was written into the legislation specifically.
All right, so motor vehicle excise tax has already gone out. It's for this year, obviously. When's our next tax bill due out?
So, let's see, when did it be going out for, either August or September, isn't it?
August? Okay.
But you can't do them both, you cannot, you have to do only one or the other.
Well, it sounds like, I just want to make sure that we get it out for the winter, because that's when it's going to be needed, so. So if we get it out in the August tax bill, we'll give them enough time for people to research it and apply for the funds. So,
Quick question, Jeff, do you have a sample of the letter that you would put in with the bill?
I think it's a great idea.
it is, absolutely.
So I did not come up with this idea. There's many towns in the Commonwealth doing this already. Locally, Ludlow, it's been super successful. That's why I've given you a copy of what they're using. Obviously, I make our own for Granby.
Chris, how would we go about, obviously we'd have to have them folded and put in envelopes. We'd have to, so, I don't know.
Well, when we're ready to do it, I'm sure Mr. Rule can probably convince our two people in our office to assist him in folding them and getting them to the collector.
All right. Okay. No, I think it's a great idea. I'm sure a lot of people will be willing to help too. I mean, I think a lot of people fear winter coming, and I was actually just talking to someone the other day about, you know, about Granby, and I said most of the people in Granby heat with oil. It's the way it is. And I think people forget sometimes how many people actually really heat with oil throughout the country. So, no, I'm in
And
favor.
just so the board knows, this isn't something that goes into the general fund. Becomes a special revenue fund under the control of the Veteran Services Officer. Okay, so nobody really can go into it except me.
Yeah, correct. So I would not be writing any checks. I'd be presenting it to the treasurer with my recommendation or my request.
Yeah.
And I'd have a ledger of when we gave it to. What I don't want is I don't want people to use their homes in lieu of food. And that's what we're looking at, the price of oil.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think.
I will,
Does anybody?
yep,
like
I will
to-
make a motion to approve the letter, or I should say the voluntary support contribution for the Granby Veterans
Second.
Assistance Fund.
For a second. All right. Any further discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
The only thing I would ask, Jeff, is that when the letter is completed, it's presented to the board, so the board can see it before it actually goes out.
Yep.
All set. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right, do we have any other correspondence? I only saw the two that came up. That was it? Okay. We're all set with the Dufresne rentals. Chris, do you have anything else?
No.
No? Okay. I know correspondence, I just quickly want to touch on the school committee has, I did see a letter here, has submitted a
Name?
someone who is interested in becoming a member of the school committee. So what I just quickly want to talk about is the process and what this board needs to do in regards to it. So, so give me 1 second. I think I have it here. So there was a letter from Steve Sullivan, the superintendent for the Granby Public Schools. As you know, we are, the school committee is a 5-member committee. At this current time, they have 4 members. They had the gentleman that was elected had stepped down from that seat, leaving the vacancy. So they put out some information in regards to anyone who was interested in it. I believe it's kind of the same thing we did at one of our meetings as well. So with that said, they did have a gentleman who was interested in being a member of it, and hopefully I don't get his name wrong, but George Balicki of 555 Amherst Road. So this gentleman is interested in the open seat on the school committee. So Chris, with that said, do we need to have a joint meeting with the
Yes.
school committee? Okay.
Yes. What has to happen is a quorum of both boards have to be present.
Okay.
Any interested people, say someone else wants to be interested or has in contact with the school, can come to the meeting and say that they're interested. Then the 2 committees can vote, and the majority that vote for whatever candidate is the candidate that is appointed to the position until the next annual election.
So I'll reach out to the chair of the school committee and see if we can come up with a date that this board and that committee can meet, hopefully sooner or later, so they can have the opportunity to, we have the opportunity to fill that vacancy.
This board's next meeting is July 11th, just so you know.
All right, so what I'll reach out to Jen and ask if July 11th would work, as long as they have three members, quorum, so 3 members can show up, would be great. We'll go from there. Maybe so we can schedule right from the beginning so we can get through it. Would that gentleman be needed to be here?
We can invite him. That way he can maybe, if he so desires, make a brief statement to the board as to why he's interested
Okay.
in serving on the committee. That's-
All right.
We've done that with other people
Right.
who
Yep.
are interested, so I just think it's a good thing. So people get to see who he is and where they're coming from.
All right, so I'll reach out to the school committee and I'll reach out to Mr. Sullivan as well. And let him know what the process is and what we're looking to do for July 11th. And we'll go from there.
Chris, would that mean that next year 2 people would be up on the school committee? Because he's only a...
Yes.
okay.
One for a
Yes.
2-year term
Okay.
and one for a 3-year.
Because you got to have them staggered.
Yes. They would be elected to fill the unexpired term.
Okay.
That's the 3 years?
One would be 3-year and one would be 2-year.
I thought the school committee was longer for some reason. No. For some reason I was thinking 5 years, but maybe not. I don't know. I know planning board, for some reason I thought the school committee was 5 years too. But, okay. All right, well, that's taken care of there.
When we go through the correspondence, then do it. Am I
Sure.
supposed to go through?
Is there anything in there that we haven't, I know you brought the other piece up, but anything that needs to be read?
There were 2 letters, each from the students that got the the Granby Good Citizenship Award. So I know in the correspondence I got Jacob Benson's, but I didn't get Joseph Boyington. So I
Okay.
didn't know if anyone else wanted to
Did not see it.
read that as well.
There was more than 2? Is that what you said?
No, there
No.
was 2 that was sent, but in my correspondence I only had Jacob Benson's that I read.
Oh,
I didn't read
Okay.
Joey
Yeah,
Boyington's.
That's good. And it's nice, it's something small, but it's something nice that the select board has the availability to do.
Yeah.
And it shows that, you know, the students appreciate it, and every dollar helps when you're paying for a college education, so I'm sure, and I know they greatly appreciate it just based off the letters.
Yeah.
Anything else, Crystal?
No. So as far as correspondence, we just read it? Nothing we
There's
need to
nothing we
vote on or
know,
anything?
no,
Okay.
anything else.
Okay.
All right, we have to approve and sign the maintenance warrants.
So, Departmental reports.
Yeah, I guess we can do that too. I checked that off in one check ahead of myself. Accept departmental reports, everybody have a chance to look at them? So any questions, concerns,
No.
comments?
I do have questions.
Chris, yeah, last time you had something for the chief, didn't you? He wasn't here.
I did. I'll look at that in a moment.
Okay.
So I wanted to start with the facilities maintenance report from June 13th. There was, on Wednesday, Jeremy assisted John and Patrick from the high school to load 398 chairs. It said these items are on loan. Is that just something that we just share with them? I was just wondering if the school actually paid
No.
or, okay. That was one of the questions from there. And then, did we hear back from Jeremy as far as those signs where it was going to be carry in, carry out trash? He was looking into the cost of those?
No, I haven't.
Okay. I was just curious if he got around to it. I know from reading his reports, he's got packed days, very packed days. But, and then what is from the June 21st? It said Jeremy put in a work request to check the settings on AHU number 3. I don't know what that means.
So the AC unit?
Maybe, yeah,
Maybe the AC unit.
'cause it was talking about toilets first, so.
So maybe not then.
Yeah, we're running the temperature, yeah, it must be an AC
Yeah, it's
unit.
AC unit. It tends to like the temperature. Yeah.
That may have to do with dispatch has been having issues saying it's warm in there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it sounds like, and that's what it,
And I think the problem we're running into is when they built the building, when they designed the system, they didn't take into account the heat generated by all the electronics in that
Okay.
room. So that room has a tendency of running a few degrees warmer than the rest of the building.
Okay.
And the problem we run into is if they turn the thermostat down too low, it makes the heat kick in
Yeah.
instead of the air conditioning.
Okay.
So I think he's looking at trying to see if there's some way the Johnson Control people can come in and look at that unit and tweak it on the computer system.
Okay.
Does the dispatch have any outside walls, or it's just all space?
It's got the walls are thicker too because it's, it's ballistic.
Yeah.
2/3 of it.
I'm almost wondering, they have those, they're not portable, but they have those small units that they go up on the wall and they filter them right out through a pipe. That might be something we'll have to look down the road, maybe it's,
We do actually have those in the IT room.
Yeah.
Just off of that, we had to put that because that room was
because that's right.
even warmer. Because,
Yeah.
Again, like Mr. Martin said, all the electronics,
Like
the
a-
one and everything.
Because you're not gonna, if it continues to be warm, you're not gonna be able to cool it down, because it's just gonna make the rest of the building colder. Unless somehow they can shut off certain vents to direct more air into there, but,
I think that's what we're trying to do is see if there's
Yeah.
adjustments that can be made to sort of balance
yeah.
Yeah.
it out a little bit better.
All right.
And then the other thing that I read from the maintenance reports is there's a lot of vandalism going on between Dufresne's Park and Brown Ellison. Or I guess we're not sure at Brown Ellison if there is vandalism or not, or what's happening to all the sprinkler heads. So I know it was mentioned before about cameras or some kind of, like, I don't know how to solve this for Jeremy because it's becoming very costly if you look at his reports. Each sprinkler head that was damaged at Brown Ellison was $220, and that was before COVID. And I want to say in his report, he listed at least 6 of them that have been damaged since May, which is a lot.
Did someone go out there and cut the grass
That's what I was just.
on Brown Allison? Not us, but did someone?
It did say that in his
Private.
report, yeah.
Yeah, they're going
Yeah.
for Brown
Somebody
Ellison.
went out and mowed the ball field, the baseball thing. And when they mowed, they left clumps of grass all over the place. And that's the problem we're having is people are going out there, don't know who it is, and feeling that they can go and mow whenever they feel like it, before a game or whatever. The problem is Jeremy has a set schedule that he mows the fields in. And he normally tries to get a list of whenever any game is being held there, so he can try and hit the field, probably a day or two before the actual game. He never got a list this year, so he's just mowing it on a regular schedule. And I know there's been a lot of complaints that the grass is too tall for when the games are being held, but we don't know when we should try and make extra effort to get out there. We can't do anything about it.
Well, that's my concern too, if somehow some of those, the sprinkler heads are being damaged by, someone going out there that shouldn't be out there doing,
Some have actually been missing.
They're being dug up.
they're being dug
They're
up,
not being ran over, they're being dug up. And
They're actually
also,
missing.
because it was stealing them.
the clumps of grass are actually not, I love Jeremy, he's a super good guy. But what's happening is when he's mowing, he's.
Can I just have you state your name and address? I mean,
Glenn Durham, 42 North Street. But when he's mowing that tree with the mower, it creates a ton of clumps of grass. Like myself and a few others sitting up with leaf blowers, and we blew all the clumps of grass in the field to make the field playable
yep,
one time. And the problem is he's so far behind, he has no help. It's not his fault. He's going as fast as he possibly can, and we appreciate that. But if like 2-3 weeks ago, we had a breakdown and we had grass that was 12 inches high on the field. And that's not a playable field for us or anybody else. And I mean, sometime in the future, if we could somehow work something out where we could maybe put together like a Friends of Granby Club or something that we can help out, help Jeremy, we'd be more than happy to help anytime. But, I don't know if there's involved in that either. But no, those sprinklers are being dug up and they're just, they're gone. Because I don't think I've seen the water turn on there at the station. I'll go there in the mornings, you know, and that's when the water goes on, but in the afternoons, I have not seen them on.
I can tell you that Jeremy knows every morning to check it.
Is,
Lots of mornings.
Well, is the grass green?
Time when no one else is going to be there.
If the grass is green, they're getting water.
is GAA the only people who use that field? Can we get a letter to GAA saying, hey, before you have a game, can we get the schedule?
I asked for one several times.
And no response.
All right. Well, maybe we can do it.
And certainly arrange that, no problem at all.
Well, there you go. So hopefully that takes care of that problem as far as getting them out there. But
Yeah.
I do have concerns that people are out stealing. That's exactly what's happening. So, and I know before we talked about some cameras like they have for like the trail cams that they have. They're inexpensive. They're motion sensitive, so they only come on when something moves in front of it. Yeah, so that may be something we need to talk about doing. I mean, it's you know, if we're replacing a sprinkler head at $220. I think one of those cameras are about $220. So,
And that was before COVID.
yeah, and that would, you know, and that's not including, you know, the time it takes for Jeremy to also install it and takes him away from doing something else too. And that's if he can replace it and doesn't need additional parts or have someone come in and do it as well. So we need to have to look at.
Those trail cams, it all depends on where they're placed, and the cheaper ones don't necessarily get too far away from them. You're not going to see anything past 30 feet on most of the cheaper ones.
Well,
And if you're going to buy the higher end ones, you're talking $300 a piece
Yeah.
or 20.
well, like I said, those are $220 for a thing, and never mind some other damage, and so
Yeah, that's,
you know, I think it's a good investment.
especially on the
Stop
ball field,
something
they're
like
going to
Yep.
fall. I agree.
He has used it, and he did catch the people that were vandalizing the shed, so.
I remember that before, right? They put them up there. Yeah, they have pictures of people. Yep.
There was a sign too that was damaged at Brown Ellison too, for the,
Yeah, somebody
Parking
bent over or
permitted
something,
only.
Twisted it around.
yep. And then the picnic table at Dufrane's Park, someone flipped it upside down and broke it.
One that got burned, too.
We're gonna
And they
burn.
yeah, and they burnt it. So, unfortunately, I think with all the vandalism and everything, it's costing the town a lot more money to repair and replace, and Jeremy has to deal with all this too, which is taking him away from his job as well,
All right, exactly.
so.
All right.
The other thing that Jeremy had sent us from last week was that GAA emptied their storage container out, but there's a lot of stuff that they left outside still on the property. So I
At
don't know.
Dufrane's?
Yes. I don't know if you saw the pictures, but there was a lot of
Yeah.
stuff.
I did not.
So,
Just need to send a letter to GA. Just
I thought that got picked, did I not get picked up?
no, it's still
I
there.
will pick it up this afternoon and then
all right. Well, depending on when Jeremy had noted it, it may be gone now. It may not be there right now, but it depends on when his report came out. What's that? Still there?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll work on that. Okay.
Maybe we can ask the police department make a few extra patrols.
Oh, yeah, we swing through
Yeah.
there all the time. They have business checks and they check them. It's just, unfortunately, you know, if anybody that's out in the middle of town at night, they can hear us coming, you can hear any car coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh
You
yeah.
know, you go through and you keep moving on and.
So it's not locked at night anymore?
No.
Okay. That's only during the wet season when they don't want people on the property?
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Because if we were trying to lock it, and then if you didn't get there early, next thing you know, town hall was getting complaints that we didn't get it open early enough, and,
Okay.
Right.
you know,
In reality, is if you have a gate, it's that people are hop over a gate and walk in there.
Yeah,
So that's just stopping vehicles from going in. It's not stopping
Right.
people from going in.
yeah.
All right.
So Chief O'Grady is here, so I did have a couple questions of the police department report. I was actually curious about the behavioral health network clinician that's coming on Thursdays.
Yep.
Is that for like family outreach or just to be there for support
it's
or?
for whatever we need.
Okay.
If people need it, we're here, we have them here. We have some individuals that have had some that have used the services, and
Yeah.
my goal is before you go out, we get the COPS grant, so we are hiring another full-timer once the academy is complete, to have the clinician and the officer go out and follow up on previous calls and make sure people are getting the services they need. But also, if there's somebody's having some issues, they just want to stop by the station and talk to somebody, that person will be there. Or if they're not, for whatever reason, we'll arrange to get them there.
Is that going to be advertised for people so that they know that the clinician is there on Thursdays? Or?
We did put it out prior, but I can put it
Okay.
out again, when we got the grant combined with South Hadley, we did put out something saying we were awarded that grant.
Right.
We have
Right.
Yeah, I
clinicians,
remember.
But we definitely can do that.
Yeah.
We find this clinician is, we were supposed to have these certain dates, and there were some issues hiring clinicians, but
Yeah.
it sounds like this gentleman's gonna be around for a while, so
Good.
I absolutely do that.
And then I was also curious, what is the 911 grant?
That
You
is-
referenced it.
Excuse me, there's two. There's a support and incentive grant, and there's a training grant. The training grant helps cover the costs. Everybody that answers 911 has to have 16 hours of continuing education to maintain their emergency medical dispatch status. So that is, we get refunded for paying for the course as well as the overtime for the officer or dispatcher.
Oh, that's good.
And then the training incentive grant is a set amount that we can use sometimes for personnel costs, but also equipment. Like this year, we're going to try to write and get some new chairs for dispatch because those things are used 24/7 and they're like 6 years old, so it's
Yeah.
by the time to upgrade them. But yeah, so we have two different grants we get.
Cool. And then I noticed that Officer Howard completed the Bridge Academy, so I wanted to congratulate him on that. But I was also curious, because you said in there that in order to become an officer, you either have to get a waiver or do full-time
Correct.
for the academy.
They changed the process with police reform. So part-time officers only had to go through a very limited training. You know, when I did it, it was probably like 100 hours. Now part-time officers before this change was like 300 hours. So now they can, if you've completed that, depending on your last name, there's a 3-year window, and you have to complete this Bridge Academy, which is another 200 hours of training. And once that's complete, then you also have to have 2,400 hours of road time, you know, working as a police officer, and then that will give you what they call that bridge, and you will not have to do a full-time academy.
So that's like the
But-
waiver.
Yes, but if you
Okay.
don't complete that, like last year, A through H, that's why Officer Howard had it done. We had three officers last year. We'll have one officer this coming fiscal year and one next fiscal year.
And so then they'll be full-time?
Well,
after
they'll
that?
have the training to become a full-time
Okay.
officer, which also runs the risk of you losing officers because now they're full-time trained, but if we don't have full-time positions,
Gotcha.
they may
Yeah.
seek employment elsewhere.
But unfortunately, that's what some other towns are facing, where the people have gone through the Bridge Academy and they're eligible to be a full-time officer.
Right.
In reality, it saves the other towns or cities money because they're not putting someone through the academy. And they get them pretty much right away, so.
We started several years ago moving from being more of a part-time base to more of a full-time base. So once this officer goes through this training this year, and he's full-time, we'll be down to 3 part-time officers.
I think the last thing I had for you, Chief O'Grady, was, you had mentioned the 2023 traffic grant, and that it's going to allow us to continue to have additional traffic patrols. So I wasn't sure how many, like, in addition.
It is personnel cost-based, so I can't give you an exact number how many would be. I believe this year's grant is $10,000 for personnel and $10,000 towards that equipment. We're talking we can get those 2 signs, those solar signs like Chickpea has and South Hadley has
Yep.
down the road.
The speeding.
They're going to be technically they can be movable, but it's gonna take some work to move them, so I think, once we get some established areas, I'd like to speak with you folks, once we get them, where we think that a good area to put them and leave them for an extended period of time.
Are they gonna be,
We also have the speed trailer, which will be out shortly as well.
are they gonna be the solar ones?
Yes, solar with a battery backup, so.
I won't mention any towns, but I did see one place one up during the winter, come summer, doesn't get any sunlight because the trees cover it. So it works good in the winter, but not too good in the summer.
Right.
Thank you.
Rich, anything?
Nope.
Okay. All right, well, at this time, I'll entertain a motion to accept the departmental reports.
I'll make a motion to accept the departmental reports.
Is there a second?
Yes, I'll second it.
Any further discussions?
No.
No? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? There you go. Now, approve and sign maintenance warrants.
We're in the blue folder.
Doesn't matter which side I start up.
No? Why don't you do them all?
Can we do them all at once, or?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Yes.
Alright, so date is June 22nd, 2022. This is for Town of Granby deduction warrant number 0078. Also have June 22nd, 2022, a deduction warrant.
We have 2 copies of each.
I was gonna say, actually, this one is the same exact one, so I'm gonna put this one under
What was the
here.
amount on the first one, Crystal?
Oh, the total amount at the end?
Yes.
It doesn't have it, hold on.
What the warrants for?
Total is $653,164.27. And this is a payroll. Then we have warrant number 0079 dated June 24th, 2022. And this is a total disbursement warrant for $229,413.92. Then we have warrant number 0075 dated June 7th, 2022. And it looks like the total for this one is, that doesn't even matter. Okay. $536,488.02. And this is a payroll warrant as well. And we have warrant number 0076 dated June 7th, 2022 for a total amount of $154,447.88. Then we have warrant number 0077 dated June 17th, 2022 for a total amount of $300,590.22. And those are all of the warrants.
Is there a motion?
I didn't get any of these in my minutes or anything. Well, we had it you had printed me out a whole bunch of stuff, and then I didn't get the emails for what you had printed out the first couple of weeks, because you had only given me the handouts for the departmental reports. So I didn't get to see any of these, but, okay.
Do you have Outlook?
Yeah, no, I do have a.
So what happens when one of us reads it first, nobody else can read it when it comes
Oh.
over to email like that?
Oh, really?
That's an issue with Outlook.
Right, that's the problem. We had that once before.
Yeah, I know
but
before,
no one
yeah, I was
see it.
going, I never get it.
Yeah, it was
So
gone.
it happened to me last year when I was sitting in your seat,
Yeah.
Okay,
a lot. So if Jen or Glenn read it ahead of time or something, I never got it until I walked in here and saw a printed copy.
okay. So what do we do now? I mean, they have to be signed, but I didn't get to read them, so
Yep.
Well, do you have any concerns with them?
I don't know. I didn't get to read them.
I mean, it's up to you. Want to wait? We can wait. But our mixed meetings not until the 11th of July. Those are payable warrants. Two of them are payroll warrants.
Yeah, which already went out, right, last week? Anyways,
Yeah.
yeah. So, I guess I will make a motion to accept the warrants, because we already paid them anyways. So warrant
Awesome.
number 0079, warrant number 0078, warrant number 0075, warrant number 0076, and warrant number 0077 as read.
For a second.
I'll second it.
Is there any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed? All right.
I'm signing the third line, right?
Yes. All right.
I did that to you last time too, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. You want me to continue to go, or you want to wait and sign your mind?
No, it's up to you.
Sure.
Whatever you want me to do. Yeah.
No, I'm just kind of move
I
along,
can
because I know we
sign it.
have a executive session at 6:45, so I
Yeah.
want to make sure that we're trying to get on schedule for that. Let's accept ethics form B.
That's me.
Yeah, okay.
So that was the 20
Oh, yes, yeah.
exemption, so that I can receive the stipend for the select board.
Right, does it need to be signed, or? Because we already voted on it.
Yeah.
You did?
We did?
You said that would fill it out and then you would do it, and then it has to be put on file with the council.
Oh, okay. We were okay with it.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
There we go.
You
That
should
was-
read the form before you do it.
I thought we saw this before.
I did have the form, it just wasn't filled out, so I filled it
Oh,
out.
okay. All right.
Yeah.
Because I remember reading
that's why it
something,
looks
the reasons,
familiar,
yeah,
yeah.
reasons why.
When you're done, just pass it this way. No, no.
But the select board does have to vote and approve it for it to be, receive the stipend, correct?
And then it gets filed with the town clerk.
Well, it's just me and you on this
Yeah.
one, right? So,
I'll make a motion that we accept and approve the ethics form B from Ms. Boucher.
and I'll actually second the motion due to the two of us. Is there any further, let's go, actually, you can second them. Well, we'll stay away from that.
Yeah.
So, any further discussion?
No.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody abstain? Anybody opposed? No. All right. All right. Put that to Chris, so file.
Thank you.
Gotta put it on this one.
You're welcome.
That's something else that's gotta be done with. How are we looking at time? 6:30.
Chris, how many appointments do we have for 2023? We have all of
It's
them?
the list. It's the normal list.
Yeah.
My question is, do you want to do the list and postpone number 5?
Well, I know everybody on the list, I guess, was always, have they been contacted?
Yeah, that was,
Have they agreed to continue to be on whatever committee it may be or board?
I have, the people who have contacted us and said they no longer want to serve, have been taken off the list. Okay. Who knows, once we appoint them, if they change their mind after the fact and not want it, but at this point in time, this is the list of appointees.
we have the list.
No, was Chris, was list up here?
Well, there may be copies in the
I don't-
new business folder.
Because I really like to reach out to people beforehand and get them to say yes or no. And, you know, instead of appointing people that are, you know, I know it's happened before, we
This
appoint
last
someone
year
and
was the
they,
same thing. Yeah, we
you
lost.
know, yeah.
I don't want it, I don't want it.
And then I noticed there's a lot of openings on these, so how do people get on it? They just write a letter to the select board saying they're interested
Send it to
in?
the select board's office.
Okay.
So is that something we can have done, just have them, reach out to, like if we can have the fire chief reach out to all the,
We get the list from the fire chief.
so he's already, he's confirming it? Okay,
Yes.
all right.
So really,
We
we're just
do, we
leaving
do
the
get
town
those lists
committees.
from those departments.
So this list came from the new chief, the
Yes.
fire chief?
Yes. Finance committee, the issue on the finance committee is you have 2 people who are up for 3-year terms, and we still have a vacancy for, I think, a 2-year term, or was it a 1-year term?
2 years, 2024.
Yeah, for 2024.
Yeah.
Joe Fernia, Scott Wilson, who are both current sitting members, have indicated they would like to be reappointed. Then we have the names of 2 other people who are interested to fill the unexpired term, or if you don't want to appoint Mr. Fernier or Mr. Wilson, it's Jen Mallett. She was formerly on the school committee, and Jen Silva, who was formerly a select board.
So before you appoint, well,
You have 3 seats, and you have 4 people interested in
Right.
serving in the finance board.
so we know, I mean, I'm comfortable with the 2 people that we have on the list, right, I mean, on the committee right now, because we know who they are. So the 2 other individuals that wish to be on the committee, if they would, if we can get a resume from them, as far as their qualifications, and maybe reasons why they want to be on the finance committee.
Do you want them to come to a board meeting?
They could do that too, but I'd like to have something in writing from them. Especially, I mean, it comes to the finance committee. Not that other committee and boards aren't important in the town, but I do feel that is an important committee when someone's, you know, advising the town on what they feel is good for the town as far as it relates to budgets and department money and things like that. So I like to see qualifications for someone before they get appointed to that board. That's just my...
Is there, I know there's several openings on several boards. Is it gonna be, could we put something on our website that say there's openings on
Yes?
the ZBA, planning
Yeah.
board, and all that other stuff?
Yep.
I saw your stuff that you sent through.
Yeah.
That's a
Yep.
good idea.
So Chris, if you could reach out to those two individuals and ask for that.
Yeah, we only have one for Conservation Commission too, huh?
I couldn't hear you.
We only have one for Conservation Commission too.
Yep, in the zoning board of appeals, I think we probably got
And the
everybody.
Historic District Commission too.
We don't have anybody listed for deputy fire chief.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Because we have an interim deputy.
And he doesn't want
And it's up to the
Yep.
current sitting fire
Chief
chief
to
to decide
decide.
who they want to be the full-time
Okay.
deputy.
Yep.
Who's the interim?
Tyler Devon.
Oh,
I was.
okay.
We could have that discussion with the chief too.
Yeah.
As far as that, so
I think he,
decide what he
I
wants to do.
kinda did already.
Yeah, okay. All right, well, I hate to say it, but I kind of I didn't waste time, I hate to say it that way, but I kind of chewed up some time here by accident, not on purpose, as far as trying to go through these, but, maybe we just do this at our next meeting, Chris?
Yep.
That was not my intention, I thought we could get through them, but, again, like I said, I know we have the executive session at 6:45, and, recently we've been late for a lot of these meetings. So in respect for the people that we were meeting with, I want to try to keep us to the time schedule. What is our approved for the new lease for 215 West 8th Street?
Our lease is up effective July 31st of this year.
Did it go up?
For August of 23 to July of 24, it's remaining the same, 2,000. Year after that, it goes to $2,100, and I think the year after that goes to $2,200.
So it's,
That was my note on
that's 223, that's
Yeah, that's the first
24,
year.
that's the 25.
And again, at some point, this board has to look at finding a place to move those offices. Because I believe the landlord is looking at potentially either maybe selling the building
Yep.
in the near future. And knowing with the space and what current rates are going in for rents, I think that would probably double. if we're
Yeah.
careful.
Well, in reality too, is I like to, you know, for us to take a look at maybe even, say, but building a new building. Or I know there was some discussion as far as West Street School. I think we're really start looking at the options.
I
because
found
we
a
didn't-
few buildings near you.
Hey, thanks.
It's listening. That is hilarious.
That was quick. But in regards to that, I mean, because the reality is, if we go out and, you know, get bonded and get a loan or something like that, I mean, next 3 years, we're spending, you know, $75,000.
Yeah.
You know, so if you think about 25 years down the road, how much you gonna spend? If you had it, you know, for 20 years or 25 years, and that's just something to continue until we come to a point where it's our own building and, you know, something that's up to date and,
Well, we have talked
funny.
about, you know, like I said, we have talked about West Street School.
Yep.
And for part of paying for the debt would be to sell this place, get this back on the tax rolls, and then use the rent that we're paying up there towards the principal and interest on whatever monies we would have to borrow.
So Chris, the next step for the West Street, would that be, because we already had the study done, so now is it just finding the contractors that we had the study done by and getting a new quote on how much it would cost?
Well, West Street School, all they looked at was demolishing it. Okay? We have looked at it and we've had other conversations, and there are people who are out there who believe that the place can be renovated. Okay? Maybe we're not going to renovate the whole thing at once, but maybe do it in phases. To turn around and create an area first for offices, so we can move into there, and then tackle other parts of the building as we go along. Therefore, not creating a large $15, $20 million project, but turning around and doing it in phases to eventually get the building back to where it can be used fully.
yeah. I still have mixed feelings as far as West Street School, whether to, and I've made it public before, whether to keep it and renovate it or look at building something new and suitable for the future going forward. So,
And actually, I've had some people contact me who are willing to create a committee to look at trying to go about reusing West Street School in municipal offices too.
I mean, I'm open to looking at anything. I know, I remember reviewing the study there a couple years ago, probably maybe 2 years, 3 years ago at this point. But just kind of really looking at it, and you know, as you said, we kind of got to start looking forward. You know, if that building does get sold and new, who knows? They may say we're not going to rent it out to you anymore. We have other purposes for it, and I hate for that to happen. So you know. Here it is, we have a 3-year window. As we know, those 3 years will go by quick, so I think we make that a priority for, at least for this board, to start talking about it and start looking at things. So if this does come up, and it will come up, that we're ready to go a different route. I think it's just time. I know we've been talking about for the past several years. I mean, and we have a building, town-owned building now that's just sitting there. You know, concerns are, you know.
Well, it's not really just sitting there anymore. You know, we're using it for storage.
Well, I know, but it's not being used to what the
full
potential.
capacity.
Not even
Yes.
close, yes.
Yes, I
So-
will agree with you on that.
Yeah.
But we do need to have some work done in order for us to be able to do so.
Well, yes, so that's what I mean, so we probably, you know, a point in time to start looking at this and really start making some decisions as how we're gonna move forward with it.
Chris, when I was reading the lease, how much do we pay in taxes there, just to kind of get a full,
We don't pay any taxes on it.
okay, because it said in there that we
Yes,
would?
but
Okay, but we don't.
We've been fortunate that the landowner
Okay,
doesn't require us to do so.
so kind of, it's just kind of rolled into our monthly payment? Okay,
What we do is, so when we don't do that, if she needs, like, say, the driveway paved because it's starting to crack up,
okay,
David has some extra blacktop material, I have him go and pave the driveway.
okay,
We do other things,
yeah.
so it's almost a wash, but it's not seen as bad because we're just helping maintain the properties.
Right. The reality is, I mean, they could raise your rent anytime, because if it costs someone $50,000 to put a new driveway in, they can definitely say, hey, you know what, the rent's going up $500 a month. If you don't like it, move out. I mean, that's reality. We have a lease now for the next several years. I think it's been a good partnership throughout the years. But I think
I've had a good working relationship with him.
I do think it's time for us to look for the future and prepare for what is a possibility absolutely. And either way, I think, eventually, it's always been, since I've been on the board for the past several years, I've heard many members talk about that'd be such and even community residents as well, talk about it'd be nice to have all the town offices under one roof, if you will. I think it's, again, something that we can probably look forward to. I know there were some great plans some time ago where the senior center, counseling and aging, and the town hall kind of all being together, completely together. But definitely something to talk about, move forward.
And actually, the new superintendent has talked about if there's enough space, they would move their offices in there along with ours.
Which frees up space at the high school.
Right. So, I think that we make that
A priority.
A priority for our agenda for our next fiscal year, coming year, 2023. All right. Well, with that said, is there a motion to accept and approve the lease?
I will make a motion to accept and approve the lease for 215 West State Street for the next 3 years.
And
So-
authorize me to sign on behalf of the board.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Is there any further discussion? No. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Anybody opposed?
So,
There you go. Just that. All right. Well, with that said, as I said, we're going to postpone the appointments to our next meeting on July 11th at 5:30. Will be the next select board meeting at that time. So at this time, we're going to move into executive session under 30A21-A and Mass General Law 30A-21-A, Section 4, to discuss contract negotiations. Good. All right. At this time, I'll ask for a roll call vote, and then we'll adjourn after that our normal session.
Bowler, aye.
Sexton, aye.
Crystal, aye.